Alrighty, guys, we're fired up. Special episode, serious footy chat here, and obviously it's about last night, South Sydney versus the Roosters, and should be talking about the leading to the finals and being a close game. It was going to be a close game for a while there until South sort of ran away with it, but we're obviously here to talk about what's everyone has been talking about in league, and that's the Latrell Mitchell hit. The Latrell on obviously Joey Manu, and we've all seen it now. We're going to sort of try and go through what happened, and obviously the start of it's the hit. And I think the first question raised is what the officials were doing. And I mean, it happened. There was a stop in play. The bunker had a mountain of time to sort of look at things while things were unfolding and the ball was getting delivered, things like that, and it just wasn't happening. So, Jace, I know you're here. You're fired up. Welcome back. We're not here to talk about your beloved Bulldogs. We're here to talk about this incident. And what are you thinking? What are your thoughts initially on the officiating behind what happened last night?
For me personally, it's the whole drama with the bunker Perinara, like them saying, letting you go. I'm sorry, it's about player safety. They've harped on about player safety with this issue. If Joey Manu was down and the bunker had reviewed it, then they should have stopped play immediately. Yeah. Like not let it go on to 30, 40 seconds, whatever it was, before they called the penalty for it. And like for me, like the hit on Latrell Mitchell, sorry, got my dog here.
Live action, guys. We're doing this spontaneous.
Yeah, sorry. The hit from Latrell Mitchell, it was reckless. It was high. Like they said from the get-go, and we've seen players get sent off less than that. Oh, I'm going to kill this dog. And I'm back.
Yeah, well.
Okay. We've had players sent off for less than that. Look, I know I'm a dog supporter. I'm not saying this because I'm a dog supporter, but if that was Jack Hetherington, you can forget it. He would be sent instantly.
Yeah.
There'd be no second thoughts about it. And it's a shame because I do like Latrell Mitchell as a player, but his attitude and his recklessness is just his reputation is going downhill fast.
Yeah. And I think we've all got a player in our side at the moment who has had in the last couple of months instances where this has happened, and we have seemed to have got the whack of it. Yet the Rabbitohs, I'll say, for instance, the Dogs, you just said Hetherington, Dragons got Ravalawa, and Paris had Maddo be suspended and sent off for his incident as well. And it's sort of like it's so confusing for the fans at the moment. We've got an instance where you can clearly see the damage that Latrell has done, and whether he meant it or not. I watched the Fox panel last night, and then I watched the Channel 9 panel as well. And the Channel 9 panel was talking about, it's footy and it happens, and unless you've played the game, you don't understand, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but that's just not on. As you said, and rightly so, the game has made a big point about being for player safety. Where is that at the moment? Because it took Joey Manu to walk up to the ref, blowing up and saying, look at my face, it's double the size, for him to take any kind of serious action about it. And we said on this channel the last few weeks, Henry Perinara for mine is not up to it. Whatever has happened personally, that obviously at the start of the year made him step down from reffing, obviously wish him all the best for that, but it's obviously impacted him because he's not there. He's just not mentally there at all. And he shouldn't be in a position to be officiating or being a bunker official for any of these games. And it's just a shame that so close to finals, this has happened. Latrell should have been sent off. The more I think about it, the more I just think it's just common knowledge that Latrell's sent off. Sid, you're back after collecting your Uber Eats and you're live with a beer in hand. This is brilliant. What was your reactions initially when it all sort of happened? Because I think every time we saw a replay, it got worse and worse. Yet the only people who didn't think it was getting worse was the bunker, and they're the ones that should be seeing it how we're seeing it.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm with you guys on a number of things. A slightly different perspective. but definitely with you guys on most things. Look, you want to talk about players, and you know, Jason mentioned guys from his team. You've mentioned guys from your team. You guys did mention Ravalawa. What about Tyrell Fumayano? Remember, he got 6 weeks or whatever it was for hitting Pappenhausen. At full pace after he passed it, and Pappenhausen ducked into it. But it's not about. You mentioned intent, and it's right. They do look at intent. They do consider it, but I always say, look at a car crash. You don't intentionally crash, but if you're at fault, you're at fault. And he didn't, intentionally do it, but he doesn't mind leaving a lazy arm or a late hit or just going full on and letting momentum, take out whoever. And then I say sorry and then pat him on the back and help him up again, So he doesn't mind a cheap shot. I'm a little bit disappointed because I think Latrell went to that next level. He said he left the Roosters to say, look, I'm a fullback and make a point to prove. Last year, he got injured in the finals. This year, I thought he's even better than last year. And now he's got to play finals again. He's only got one person to blame, and that's himself. Now, as far as the send-off goes, hell yeah, send him off. Hell yeah. That's a send-off because he put money out of the game. Wasn't the whole point of the Magic Round when they turned the game upside down after 111 years of rugby league? They decided they wanted to turn it into touch footy for well-being of players, and then they just send. If you put a player out, you should be sent off. That's it. It should have been a send-off. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. I agree with you, Sid, and that's the whole thing with this new head high rule. It's when they brought in the Magic Round, it was pretty much any head high contact, you were done, you were sent, sin bin, whatever, and then it sort of eased off a bit, and the fans accepted it pretty much for what it was. It is what it is, but now there's no consistency. The fans are crying out for consistency. They wanted consistency from the start, and that's why they brought in these rules. And then they had that consistency, and now it's gone. Whether it was intentional or not, like I said, we've seen guys sent off for less. Jack Hetherington got sent for just leaving a lazy arm out and collecting, I think it was Ponga or someone, I can't remember. He got sent for that. This wasn't a lazy arm. You can see that the amount of force that was in that. To break a person's cheekbone, the person's skull is that hard. It takes a fair bit of force to break it. That was not a lazy arm. He never should have stayed, never should have been allowed to come back on the field.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think what makes this so bad is that, Sid sort of touched on it a little bit, is he didn't show he was remorseful at all. And I think since Magic Round, we've had all these high shots, swinging arms or shoulder to the head. Every time, or about 90% of the time, the player who's done it has actually shown remorse and apologized straight away to the player and goes, yeah, mate, my bad. That slipped up or that was unintentional. Latrell not only didn't apologize, he went on with it. He fired up. He saw the replay, saw what happened, saw one of his best mates' faces and fired up again. And then to only get 10 in the bin and to come back and play such a big role against the Roosters and pile on another try, set up a couple more tries, it just doesn't make sense. The Roosters lost their apart from Tedesco, their strike backline player, and he has done so now for the rest of the year. Now, he's going to get a suspension that rules him out for the rest of the year. That's great. But the problem now is that, and a quick discussion is that there's nothing to say. As soon as that sort of damage is done, I read in the rules the last few months, that's a send-off. If you put a player out, that's a send-off. So I don't get where that has come into it, and now it's not a send-off.
It's going with the bunker. The bunker had a chance to review it, and they had a chance to give their own determination on whether it was going to be a send-off or a sin bin. Even then, the time in between Joey Manu confronted Latrell Mitchell to the point of the send-off, or the sin bin, you could see the damage, clearly see the damage on Manu's face. From that point, you've got to say, look, this isn't a sin bin any longer. This is a send-off. You could see that it was never going to come back.
Yeah. And why is it fair that then the Roosters are the ones that suffer and the Bunnies get to then play on 13 men? They get their strongest attacking weapon back after 10 minutes, which the Roosters were down and out by then. They were already lost another player with Takiaho gone, and it just doesn't make much sense at all. And is the 6 to 8 weeks, or 6 to 9 weeks, sorry. I don't think he'll fight it because he's got no case to fight it with. If he fights it, he's a dead man walking. He's got 9 weeks guaranteed. Is 6 weeks a fair punishment?
No, I don't think so. Not
Where
for
would
that.
you go?
Another, mate, I'd say minimum 9 weeks. I'd say minimum 9 weeks to, I don't know, maybe 11.
Yeah.
But it was reckless, and it was high, and it was with force. So you can't get, it's not like you hit him around the throat. He pretty much hit him on the temple.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. 9 weeks is not good enough.
Sid, 6 weeks, a little bit too small for yourself, or you think it's about right?
It's not right, but I can't give you a figure. But what I will tell you is they should, in I know I always refer to English Premier League, but I really think things like English Premier League and NFL, they're really the benchmark for us as a competition. And what they do, if somebody does something like that, he gets a red, he gets his suspension. The review committee can actually look at things like violent conduct, which adds more weeks and also comes with a fine. So if a guy 2 foot a bloke and breaks his leg in soccer in a slide tackle, he'll actually get not only his standard straight 1 week. If it's a straight win, I think it's 2 weeks in the EPL. And then the match review committee can say, no, that's not good enough. Let's add 5 weeks. That's 7 weeks. No, we're going to add violent conduct. And then the guy's rubbed out for 10 weeks. And they should have that discretion. And again, I just want to say, I like Latrell as a player. And he's a rare one that can play well when he's angry, but he crossed the line, man. Too far. And I think that's what Joey Manu was saying, mate. We know you're a fight, but mate, too far, mate. You know, my wife's mates with your wife. Our kids play together. Are you fucking serious?
It's a hard one because I love Latrell. I've said it all year round. I think he's been one of the better players of the year. And it's just that when he gets to play on emotion like that, he gets too far. And that's my whole thing. And we're going to bring it up on the Monday video. I want to bring it up. But that's the reason South can't win the premiership for mine, whether Latrell was there or not. If teams get under their skin or do something that they don't like, they play off emotion and it stuffs their heads up and they just completely lose the plot. So it worked out okay last night because Roosters lost another 2 players and have half their side out. But against the Storm and Panthers and things like that, they're not going to get that luxury. Manly as well. They'll get bombarded by those teams. Look, I think the final thing to sort of say on this is that Latrell's not only damaged the Roosters season moving forward by injuring Manu. He's gone. Roosters for mine. That's the red line now. That's just one hurdle too many. He's also stuffed up South Sydney's chances. South Sydney cannot win the competition anymore, and it's all because of this instance. Now, this is the thing that Latrell has to deal with, and I've talked to so many South Sydney supporters today who've said they're just absolutely gutted by what's happened because it's just one stupid decision he's made has stuffed up their whole season. They were on upwards. They were looking like they had timed their run really well this year, and they've just completely stuffed it now. Jace, is there any way forward for South? We don't want to dig too deep into it because we'll touch on it more on Monday, but is Latrell literally just cost his team the premiership or any chance of the premiership for this year?
I think so. He's definitely a key player for them. Key attacking player as well as a defensive player. He makes a lot of great defensive plays, saving tries in corners, diffusing, all that kind of stuff. He, like Sid said, he's a one-of-a-kind player. How do you replace him? You can't. You bring in the young fella Taff in and he does the job, but he's not going to do what Latrell Mitchell does. Like, you move Alex Johnson to fullback and then you lose a strike weapon on the wing there, especially on their left side, where they're finishing off a lot of their tries.
They've lost that fear factor.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have the strike that they've been having for these last 4 or 5 weeks. I think he's definitely cost his team a premiership this year.
Yeah, Sid, you in the same boat there?
Yeah, 100%. Everything Jason said, spot on. They don't have Corey Allen to bail them out this year as well. Yeah. Corey Allen was a really, really good backup, in my opinion. He plays centre wing and full back. He's and Wayne Bennett would stick to tape a structure together. The structure will only take you so far if you don't have the game breakers
Yeah.
It's season over, and the perennial bridesmaids, them along with Parramatta, they're not going to make it past week 2 of the finals.
Well, thanks for that little dig there, mate. We'll talk about that on Monday's video, but that's it, guys, for now. Just one, as I said, it was a quick one. We'll shoot more into it on Monday and dig into the teams and what this means moving forward. But Latrell, absolute brain snap. He, as Sid said, he's gone too far in our opinions. 6 weeks, he's pretty lucky. It could have easily been, as Jason said, so much more. And I wouldn't have complained if it was into that 10-week region or more. So it's the worst high tackle shot I've seen this year since the crackdown. And we've seen players cop some pretty lengthy suspension so far. I think this one should have taken the cake and then some. So NRL for mine may have been a little bit too lenient still, because a lot of this is because of loading as well. So if it wasn't loading, they're only giving him 4 weeks, and that's just an absolute joke, and that's a farce. So we'll dig more into it, guys. Short video, short and sweet. Thanks for tuning in. We'll get the gang back together Monday. And there you go. Cheers, guys.